Doug Wallace, and that's the Baby Yoda.
So we're here, and we're gonna talk about a few things today. This is ERCTv. This is our first episode, and we're basically gonna be bringing you real news, but in a different way. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, we're gonna ask the hard questions. We're gonna talk about the hard subjects. We're gonna discuss local issues and what's being done and what's not being done. But we're not going to be asking the easy questions like, how are you doing today? Nah, if we're gonna ask a question, we're gonna ask a question.
The questions that need to be asked.
That's right.
Questions we expect to be answered. So we're gonna start off. First off, we would like to give our condolences to the family of Friday's incident.
Yeah,
that was sad. That was sad.
That's a horrible incident. We send our thoughts and our sympathies to the families and all those affected. And we plan on one of our next episodes here coming up. We're gonna have a special guest, and we're really gonna touch on the topic of domestic violence.
Right.
That's an important issue.
Yeah, this something that's been going on, and I know there's different advocates and committees and groups that are fighting for this, but this is something that really needs to be talked about.
Absolutely.
It's an underlying issue within our community.
And it's not bound by race or
no, not at all.
Money or anything.
No, not at all.
It affects everyone.
Right.
So we'll be talking about that.
Right.
And if you're experiencing domestic violence, we put the hotline up here for you. Call and talk to somebody. It's really important that you can find a support system and help. And we look forward to bringing that episode to you here.
That's right. So, Doug.
Yeah, man.
Let's talk about this mask mandate.
Baby Yoda loves the mask.
Baby Yoda masked up. Today is the day that it's enforced, right?
Yeah, today
here in Taylor County.
Yep, today's the day it went into effect. I'm sorry to all you haters of masks. I like them because they're a fashion statement. I got my FAMU one. I also have a Miami one.
Right.
It's all about the U, baby.
The U, baby. So my thing is about the mask. My personal opinion, I feel like it'll save people's lives because people sneeze, people touch things. You know what I mean? You may be asymptomatic. You just don't know.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like just even if you don't believe that it'll help, at least do it for somebody else.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
And I had a friend post something today on social media and said, let's make today the day where we research stuff before we repost it.
Right,
There's a lot of misinformation
right.
going on out there where people just they see a meme and they chuckle or whatever and they just repost
One
it.
thing I like about what Facebook is doing now, they're doing a fact check.
Yes,
so you'll see they'll have articles, and then right up under it they'll have the fact check, and then they'll have the sources on why this is not correct.
But the problem with that is by the time the fact check gets to it,
they already posted it.
It's already been posted and shared 100
times.
Yeah,
people commenting on it and all that there.
So, but the face mask ordinance, personally, I also want to give a shout out to the City Council, Miss Woodfolk, Mr. Deming, and Miss Hampton.
Yes.
I want to tell you something.
Thank
that
you.
Right there, the courage. And I'll be the first to admit, there's no other way to put this. I don't agree with Miss Hampton on a lot of things. I don't agree with some of the things she did, but you cannot deny the courage that them three had when they stood up there and they took this issue.
That's right.
We talking about courage because they knew what was going to come.
They know the backlash, the threats, all that. But when you're standing up for what's right, and like you say, you may not agree with everything that a person does, but that's what's right. That's what's for the people. That's what's needed here in Taylor County.
It is. Absolutely.
I respect y'all for doing it. Thank y'all.
We appreciate y'all. But the mask mandate, it come out, and I actually got a copy of the actual ordinance today, and I'm also surprised because they had a lot of exemptions in it, and during the city council meeting, I was on the city council, I was listening, and I actually spoke during the city council meeting, and Mr. Curtis said that the exemptions were there for them to choose from. And I have to say, they did not choose a lot of exemptions. There's not a lot of exemptions at all, and it covers almost everybody in every space, you know. And for them to take and be that stance about it, you know, shout out to you guys.
Definitely.
And this is the thing, and I want to bring this up because when I was listening to it, there was a gentleman that called in, and I don't remember his name, but he calls in and he says, according to Florida law, you can't wear a mask and have a concealed weapons permit. That's the kind of stuff that people are listening to on Facebook. But what I absolutely loved, and I'm not laughing at the guy, but I will say this, it was hilarious to me.
I'm laughing at him.
It was hilarious to me that they fact checked him in real time.
Yeah.
He hung up the phone. Jamie Cruz got on and said, that's not correct. There is an exemption for it, that it's only a mask if you're committing a felony. And then the city attorney said, I did my own research and it's only, you know, guys, y'all stop listening to everybody.
Stop spreading lies. And if you're not sure about something that you're seeing on Facebook, conduct your own research.
Yeah.
And not just Wikipedia.
Yeah, I'm not a COVID doctor, but
Yeah, common sense. Though.
That's right. I know enough.
I know we have common sense though.
Yeah, I know enough that I know where to go get the information.
That's right.
And I'm not a lawyer, but I know when to listen to lawyers.
That's right.
So, you know,
and know when to listen to the doctors as well.
That's right. Absolutely.
Unlike some other people.
Absolutely. So, you know, we'll talk about, you know, the first one of these on the thing, and we'll post this and we'll post sections of it on ERCTv so you can look at it yourself. So we're not sharing memes, we're sharing the actual document, the actual information.
That's right.
That's the exceptions. An individual in a business establishment while in that business establishment. All persons who own, manage, or are employed by a business located on the city or in the city while on duty and having direct or indirect customer contact, including persons working in a kitchen or otherwise preparing or serving food or beverages to customers. And then it's got the living and working, visiting and all that. So it covers everybody.
Okay. All right, so just so we're clear, just so everybody's clear, what is the governor's stance on masks right now?
Dude, don't get me on my soapbox with that, man. Lord, don't get me on my soapbox.
I just want to make sure.
He says they're not needed, and he also says, and he said it today, it's getting better. We setting records left and right. It's getting better, guys.
For our governor, the numbers don't lie. For our governor, or sometimes they do. For our governor to tell us that we don't have to wear masks, we are the epicenter of the world, and to tell us that we don't have to wear masks should tell you something.
Yeah.
Forget politics.
I got another way of looking at it. College football. Saw that meme. We talked about it the other day.
Right.
Saw a meme. It said if they said college football season would play out in its entirety the way it's supposed to, if everyone stayed home for the next 30 days and everybody wore a mask, you couldn't pull people out their houses quick enough. They would be locked in them son of guns.
Yeah.
And for you college football fans, listen here. They've canceled out of conference games in the major conferences. Florida A&M, I am a senior at the Florida Agricultural Mechanical University, Rattler Strike. They've canceled, the MEAC's canceled all fall sports. So if you're not careful, we're going to lose out on sports and a whole bunch of other stuff if people don't start.
I mean, we got to stick together. If we want this to go away, at least if we want to see a decrease in cases, we're going to have to do something. And obviously what we're doing is not working. So, you know, just look at these other places.
Yeah, New York. New York's a prime example. You know, so do your research. Please wear your mask, if not for you, for others. And I'm going to go into this. Go to cdc.com. We're going to post the link on the video. Go to their website. look at their recommendations for schools reopening. That's something, you know, they had the school board meeting last week and they were talking about the COVID virus.
That's right.
And the question and answers that you saw in I'm just going to say a publication. How's that sound?
Okay.
Okay, we're just going to say a publication.
Sounds good.
That was the softest questions you could possibly ask. So what did I do? What we going to do?
We're going to ask the real questions.
That's right. So we sent an email and asked the difficult questions. Everybody says go by the CDC guidelines. The school board and the administration all says, well, we went by the health department. Okay, show us their guidelines. Hadn't received an answer on that one yet.
All right.
Asked them, let me see, I'm trying to remember because I asked a bunch of questions. Anybody that knows me knows I'm going to ask a bunch of questions. But I asked them about social distancing. It is impossible to social distance in a classroom. You know, I asked about the mask. CDC recommends that all students wear a mask, especially middle and high school. And then one of the big problems that I see is in middle school and high school, the kids change out of classes every hour.
Right.
Who's going to clean between classes?
Right. Within that time frame.
Within that
time frame.
Yeah, that's
and we're talking about disinfecting everything that could have possibly been touched or contaminated.
Absolutely.
Which is the whole classroom.
And it ain't necessarily the kids, but if they become asymptomatic,
exactly,
what's going to happen then? They're going to bring it home to their parents and their grandparents, and then
people who may be more vulnerable to,
that's right,
you know, something life-threatening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But now here's some breaking news that I saw on the way here. The Florida Education Association, the teachers union, they have actually filed a lawsuit against the state of Florida for them to rescind that order that schools must open 5 days a week in the state of Florida, because you have teachers resigning and retiring. And look here, in Perry, I don't know about Wakulla and Mayo, but I'm pretty sure it's the same. We don't have a lot of teachers.
No.
And we have even less substitute teachers.
That's right.
So, you know, it's a big issue.
Yeah, that's why this is something that has to be addressed now, because we don't wait till then and then, you know, it's a major problem. So
absolutely.
That's why we're asking these questions. We're gonna get down to it. We're gonna make sure we do what we gotta do for the community, and, you know, to keep as much people safe. We're advocates for the mask, like it or not. It's gonna save lives. So let's talk a little bit about John Lewis.
John Lewis.
Let's talk a little bit about John Lewis. Rest in peace to John Lewis.
Yes. You know, me and we were talking before we started filming, and Representative Lewis to me was my inspiration when I first started studying the civil rights movement and really getting in depth with it. You know, that man didn't hold back
at all. And we're talking about somebody who's putting decades into this. You know what I mean? Into the cause.
Absolutely.
I mean, so he definitely has the respect that's due to him.
And the scars.
Yeah, most definitely. We're talking about somebody that was arrested over 200 times.
Yep.
Who was beat.
Yep. And that, you know, that one time on the bridge in Selma, you know, he was beaten within an inch of his life. And that man, he just kept pushing. You got so many people today, you got a lot of people that are scared or don't want to stand up and say something.
Right.
You know, and, you know, John Lewis, he knew what was going to happen to him.
Right.
And he still, you know, fought the fight.
Well, I would say use John Lewis as motivation.
Absolutely.
Don't give up. Don't stop. We'll win this fight. But we won't win the fight if we give up.
Or if we sit in silence. You know,
this is past a color thing.
Yep.
It's way past that. Black lives do matter.
And from a white man, let me tell you, this whole all lives matter thing, if you don't understand, if you haven't done the research, All Lives Matter is for no other reason than to water down Black Lives Matter. Okay, I'm a white man.
That was the first counter protest
Yep.
to Black Lives Matter.
Yep. And I'll tell you, as a white man,
All lives matter.
as a white man, I will stand, and we've been there together.
Mhm.
I'm going to chant Black Lives Matter
That's
because until every black life matters the same as a white life, then it doesn't. Then white life, it don't matter.
And to our new viewers who may not know us, you may just be tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. You can like and share our page if you like. One thing about us is that we don't filter anything. So when it comes to standing up for what's right, we're gonna do that. So we're gonna talk a little bit about what happened in Wakulla.
Yes.
Let's
Powerful.
talk about what happened
Powerful.
in Wakulla. So I'm gonna start off like this. As we're coming into Wakulla, we see a big Trump flag. Guy on the side of the road.
That thing had to be 20 feet.
Big flag. This is what I'm saying. The first line of defense was the All Lives Matter. Their second line is the Trump.
And you know what's coming next?
And the Blue Lives Matter.
Yeah. Next is the mask.
Right. Yeah.
So
Man.
we come into Wakulla, and I'm gonna tell you what.
Man.
Half of me swelled with pride. I don't know if you heard me speak. There was a lot going on, but I did speak, and just the amount of support and people that come together.
That's right.
And if you look at the pictures, and we'll show some during this, and we'll show some a little later on, and go to Equal Rights Committee page, and you'll see some of the pictures. One of the things I point out is when you look at the Black Lives Matter movement, there was just as many white, Hispanic, Latino people there as there were black people there.
Right.
Supporting Black Lives Matter.
That's right.
But when you look at the Trump supporters, first off, I have a question. It's a Black Lives Matter. It's about equality.
What does this have to do with Trump?
Exactly. It ain't got nothing to do with Trump.
Glad you said that. So this really should.
By the way, all them people, they were all white.
All white.
Just
all white.
Yeah.
So you should be able to determine for yourself the type of people who support Trump. Think about that now.
Absolutely. And right now, I got a video I want to show. This video is, and maybe you got her name. I did not get her name. The organizer.
Kendra Renee Smith. We'll
Kendra?
tag her name right here.
Yes. Kendra Renee Smith. She spoke. She was the first person to actually speak at the event. And she read an essay that she had written about why she organized the protest in Wakulla. So I want you to watch this video and listen to her words.
Links will be in the description.
Yep. Listen to her video about why she did it.
Wrong with prevention. What is wrong about saying black people should be treated equally? Most importantly, ask yourself, why are you not outraged? I personally believe all cops are not bad. And to say that these bad apples may be true, but these bad apples you're speaking of carry guns, and they're sworn to protect. Instead, they kill. The officer charged with murdering George Floyd shot 2 people and received at least 17 complaints. Had some action been taken against him, maybe Mr. Floyd would be alive today. Instead, he was denied any due process, and that officer was the judge, jury, and executioner that day. There are steps that can be taken to ensure that senseless tragedies like this one that happen all over the country stops now. And it starts at home. Our community can set an example by not hiring officers with bad track records, creating a citizens review board for complaints, diversity and de-escalation training, outreach programs for the officers and community to build relationships. If we take all of these steps, change will spread. Then there will...
Yeah, it was overall, I think we had a good turnout, man.
Absolutely. Now to begin with, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little worried to begin with. There were like 5 of us.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, the numbers showed up, and by the time we did the march, we had
Absolutely.
multiplied.
And you know, I'm going to try and call it as square as I can, and I'm going to put two things out there, one pro and one against. The Wakulla County Sheriff's Department, for the pro, and I don't know about your experiences because we worked together the whole time.
Right.
But my experiences, the Wakulla County Sheriff's Department overall, for the most part, there was a couple incidents, but were absolutely professional, caring, concerned, and did an amazing job. I didn't see them get cross with anyone. That's me. That's the pro. So to those people, and I in my videos, if you go to Equal Rights Committee on Facebook, you know, I posted some of the videos as things were going on, and that's what we're going to try and do here on ERCTv. Is as things are happening, we're going to show it to you. You're going to see it live. That's right. They were really, and you'll see one in which things were getting really tense. And one of the deputies come over and he actually spoke to several of the protesters, and I was able to record that. Make sure you watch that video because that man, he earned his pay that day, and he was absolutely professional. However, number one, you don't march protesters. You don't allow protesters and counter-protesters to be that close.
Right.
That is a danger, not just to both sides, but to the public.
Right. You're increasing the possibility of an incident.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm talking about, because I was surprised. You know, we're
walking right past these people.
Yeah, we're marching right past these people, and I'm seeing the flags up ahead, and I'm like,
the flag hit you in the head?
Yeah, look, where are we going? Are they feeding us to the lines or something? And I'm telling you, they were some of them just as close as this, and they yelling and screaming and cussing and all this, that, and the other at us. Come on, Wakulla County.
Matter of fact, let's show a little bit of that footage right now.
Okay.
Why they lead us into that?
Spent 20 minutes Googling. 20 minutes Googling.
Yeah, there's no racism in Wakulla County. No. None at all.
Now you see how that works, right?
Yeah, I know about it. It was like right there, but you know, and then another con, and it took me after we left for me to look back at it, because as a white person, you know, we don't always see things at that moment,
right?
You know, and that's any white person.
Now, tell me this from your experience. I haven't asked you this.
Okay.
As you was walking down as we were marching,
yes,
you were getting close to these people there yelling and all that. Did you feel just a little bit how it is to be black? Because you know a lot of those people, it was more so their hate towards black people.
Yes. And I will, and
because how I look at it, and not to cut you off, I would say that, you know, to people like that, I'm not saying all white people think this. I'm not saying that at all. But to people like that, I think when they see other white people being involved with Black Lives Matter, they automatically would.
Oh, we're traitors.
Yeah, you're a traitor, or you're basically what we are. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, like, what was your experience as you was walking in? What was your how did you feel?
I will never say, you will never hear me say that it felt as though I was black.
Right.
Because I can never put them shoes on.
Right.
So you'll never hear me say that. But it was to be completely honest, it was disheartening.
Yeah.
It was so sad. You know, this march was organized with the sheriff's department. There was a permit pulled. There was a plan. They did everything by the numbers.
That's right.
And they weren't shouting out, you know, kill Whitey or anything like that. And these people were so emotional and spewing hate and trying to instigate an incident.
Right.
It was saddening. It
Right.
really was. It was saddening.
Right. They actually called me out a few times, telling me to go get some new clothes and all kind of stuff. Okay, all right.
And then like I was saying before, the other thing with the sheriff's department, and like I said, as a white person, I had to go back and I had to watch the video afterwards.
Right.
And that's when I saw something, and it triggered a thought process. The entire time we're in the park, and the sheriff's department is holding the line between the two groups, they always had their back to the Trump supporters, and always were facing the Black Lives Matter supporters.
Right.
And when I actually went back and I looked at the video, it hit me that for all of history, black men have been labeled and stereotyped as a threat.
Right.
And so these deputies, as a deputy or as a law enforcement officer, you're taught to face the threat. So to them, the Black Lives Matter protesters were the threat, while the people instigating, the Trump supporters, were not a threat because
Right.
they were white.
And that's why their backs were to them.
Absolutely.
But we were told they were there to protect us.
Yes. And so that's one of the things, and that was a learning experience, and it was very powerful for me.
Right.
It was very powerful for me to point out, to say, you know, it's one thing to see something on the news. It's another to be there and say, hey, this is what we're fighting against.
Right.
Is this unknowingly being racist? You know, there are people that are racist because they're ignorant of
Right.
the issue, and they don't know to look at them small things.
Right.
And so, you know, that's some of the stuff we're fighting against.
So just think about this too, right? Some of these same people, once the protest was done, you know, they go back to their lives.
Yep.
And these are the same people you'll see in Walmart, and you know what I mean? So
And
it's just crazy because you never know,
What
you know,
one of
who
them,
has that
an
mindset.
elected official, because we posted it on our page.
Right.
One of them was a county commissioner's.
County commissioner, what is his name? Robert.
He's a county commissioner, and he's protesting against Black Lives Matter. Okay, so if you are a person of color, explain to me how that county commissioner is going to
County
represent
Commissioner Ralph Thomas stands with county protesters in Hudson Park on Saturday, July 18th, 2020. Posted by Alicia Devine, Tallahassee Democrat.
How are you going to represent the entire community when you're standing on a side? How that elected official keeps his job when people voting is beyond me.
Well, we're talking about Wakulla County, but at the end of the day, our votes count.
That's
and these
right.
people have to realize a lot of us are voting now.
That's right.
We will make change.
And one of the things, you know, when I was talking out there that I mentioned was, it's no longer, okay, us smaller communities, we have to unify. It's
Right.
not Taylor County, Wakulla, Leon, Madison, Mayo. No, we got to blur them lines.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of us.
Yeah.
The other side is unified.
Exactly.
All us smaller counties,
Exactly.
we've got to unify. We got to come together
Exactly.
for what's right.
That's why, you know, equal rights, we have no problem going to these, you know, different areas, our neighbors, you know, because they're our neighbors. We're going to make sure our community is safe.
Absolutely.
Including our neighbors.
So I think that just about covers our first episode. We covered everything that we wanted to cover.
One thing I would like to give a shout out to Kendra Renee Smith for Wakulla's event.
Absolutely.
Also, I would like to give a shout out to My Eye on You on YouTube, DC Accuracy, and
Oh, yeah.
Farmer.
I was actually able to meet him.
Right.
Now, we talking about my experiences. Okay, I am not the smallest guy in the world. Wayne, if you're watching this, I'm not going to call your last name. You know who you are. I made this one by George. I survived to the end. It about killed my fat butt, but I survived to the end. Didn't nobody have to turn around and come pick me up. That's right. I made it.
Yeah, you did it.
I was able to meet him when I was walking up about half dead. You know, so
You made
really
it.
nice.
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
nice guy.
Definitely,
Really nice
definitely. And once again, thank you to all those who helped enforce the mask mandate. We appreciate y'all.
And thank you to everybody that tuned in and watched. We appreciate you coming and giving us time to speak to you. We look forward to hearing from you. Like, share, comment, spread this around, guys. We want as much comment as we can. We're here for you. We want to discuss things that are important to you.
And if you have any questions or concerns, you can always inbox us and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, and if you want to come on the show, come on the show.
Yeah.
We'll all sit around and talk. We'll make it a family thing. We'll all come in and if we'll social distance and we'll wear our masks just like Baby Yoda, and we'll sit down and we'll have a conversation about important issues, not just about Taylor County, not just about Lafayette and Wakulla, but this area, because we've got to come together.
Also, stay tuned to our page for current updates on coronavirus cases.
That's right. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Stay tuned. At the end of this video, we have included a memorial to the honorable and heroic John Lewis. It's a very powerful memorial. So stay tuned. It'll be right after we sign off. I hope you enjoy that. Please like and share and send us your comments.
Black Lives Matter.
Peace.
I kept saying to myself, how many more? How many more young black men will be murdered? That the madness must stop. And it was very moving to see hundreds and thousands of people from all over America and around the world take to the streets to speak up, to speak out, to get in what I call good trouble, but to get in the way. And because of the action of young and old, black, white, Latino, Asian American, and Native American, because people cried and prayed, people would never ever forget what happened and how it happened. And it's my hope that we are on our way to greater change, to respect the dignity and the worth of every human being. And it doesn't matter the color or the background, or whether they're male or female, gay or straight. We will come to that point and say we're one people, we're one family, we all live in the same house, not just the American house, but the world house.
I wanted to talk about the protest in particular, because people were saying it's a turning point, it's a tipping point. Yesterday, Bishop T.D. Jakes said it's a turning point when you look at the diversity of the crowd. So I want to know, I know you've been watching, I understand you were moved to tears over the weekend looking at the protest. Does this feel and look different to you?
This feel and look so different. It is so much more massive and all-inclusive. To see people from all over the world taken to the streets, to the roadways, to stand up, to speak out, or to do what I call getting in trouble. And with the sense of determination and commitment and dedication, there will be no turning back. People now understand what the struggle was all about. is another step down a very, very long road toward freedom, justice for all humankind.